a couple of miscellaneous points to be remembered in regards or in relation to a minor. The first of them is minor's agreement jointly with a major person. Now, until now, we have only done the contracts which are entered by minors only. How about a contract which is jointly, that is, which is entered into by a minor and a major together? It is jointly entered by a minor and a major. So you can always argue that since one of the parties is a minor, that contract is void ab initio. But the law says since there is a major person involved, there is an adult person involved in the contract, and he is doing a contract along with the minor. He understands that contract. He has the capacity to enter into the contract. We cannot say that the contract is void ab initio. Rather, the contract remains valid. The contract remains valid. It is valid. However, the minor still remains to be not liable. The minor will never be liable under any contract. Either he may either enter into the contract singly, that is on his own, or he may enter into the contract jointly. In either case, he will never be liable. The next point is minor can always act as an agent. I've already told you what is an agent, what is a principal, and what is the relationship between them, what is the agency relationship. I'll again explain you briefly. An agent is a person who works for some other person. An agent is a person who works on behalf of some other person. And that some other person is called as principal. So there is a principal who employs a person to act on his behalf, to do work for him. So he is called as an agent. Now what kind of a relation exists between them? The relation is such that whatever work, whatever acts the minor, or rather the agent performs, the principal is directly liable for all those acts. Now, why is the principal directly liable? Because the agent is doing it on behalf of the principal. So, who has the ultimate liability? The principal has the ultimate liability because he has employed the agent and the agent has done the work on his behalf. So, because of these two reasons, the principal is ultimately liable for all the acts done by the agent. So, you can see that the agent is not contracting any liability here. Who is contracting the liability? The principal. He is the ultimate liability bearer. Agent is not liable. So minor can always become an agent because agent does not have any liability. Please remember, a minor can never have any liability anywhere under any contract. But wherever he has to receive some benefit, the contract becomes valid. Or wherever under a contract he does not bear any liability, that contract becomes valid. So when a principal and an agent contract, that contract becomes valid because agent does not have any liability. Now even though that agent is a minor, the contract still remains valid. However, you would have noticed that the principal bears the liability. So, can you tell me if a minor can become a principal or not? Can a minor become a principal? No. A minor can become an agent, but a minor cannot become a principal because he has the ultimate liability of all the acts of agent. So minor can become an agent because he does not have any liability, but a minor cannot become a principal because principal has to bear a liability and no minor can bear any liability. The next point is minor as a shareholder of a company. Do you think a minor can be a shareholder in a company? The answer is yes. A minor can always be a shareholder in a company. The only condition is the shares should be fully paid up. Because if the shares are not fully paid up, then the minor will be liable towards the amount of the face value which has not been paid up. In that case, minor will have some liability which is against law. The law says minor cannot have any liability. So the only case where a minor can become the shareholder is the case where the shares are fully paid up. In that case, the minor will not have any liability. Even though the company gets wound up, the company is closed, the minor will not be liable to pay anything because the shares are fully paid up. And a shareholder has a liability only till the unpaid amount of the face value. Here the unpaid amount of face value is 0. That means no liability remains. Now he only has to receive benefit. The shareholder will only receive a benefit. He'll receive dividends. So the minor becomes a beneficiary here. He can always become a shareholder. So these were some miscellaneous points we thought we'll cover because they are sometimes asked in the exams. With this, we are done with the topic, the subtopic I should say, on minors. I like to remind you that we were doing the essentials of a contract. Under that, we started with capacity or a competence of parties to enter into contract. We said a person who is a major can enter into contracts. So then we studied who is not a major. We came to know that a minor is not a major, and then we saw the status of a minor if he enters into a contract. So now we move on to the next topic, which is unsound mind. But before going there, I would just like to take a short quiz on this topic on minors.